Keisha like, do you love me? Love me not, love me, love me not, love me not, love me. I'm seeing her.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Gabriella and welcome to my channel. Make sure you hit that like button, comment down, and subscribe. Today we're going to be doing a story time when I was 18 and pregnant. This was one of my second requested most videos that I had posted on my IG story, guys. And I couldn't wait but to do this video because I became pregnant as a teen mom, and it was the most crazy, the most magnificent experience. So if you guys are interested in hearing it, just tap in. Story time when I was 18 and pregnant. So I want to start off and tell you guys that I became pregnant really young, and kid you not, at 18 years old, the first person that knew that I was pregnant was obviously my boyfriend. At the time, we weren't still living together. I was still living in my parents' house, and he was at his mom. And I remember one morning, because obviously if you know you're doing the do, you know you're having unprotected and, you know, sex, you're bound to get pregnant. And, you know, I just had a feeling one morning, and I told myself, oh my God, I have to do a pregnancy test. I wasn't very open about me having, you know, with my boyfriend, with my mom, because my mom was always as a strict, super strict. So I felt like I never had that how you say confianza, like I never had that mom to daughter conversations with her, because she was just so strict, and I was just always so afraid to tell her anything, you know, because of the way she always reacts to everything. Like, she would take everything out of proportion. So that morning I went to take a pregnancy test. I remember it was in my mom's bathroom early in the morning, and I was waiting in the bathroom like so anxious, like, you know, those 3 minutes as you sitting there, you're so impatient, like, oh my God, is this thing finally gonna say pregnant, yes or no? Like, I was just so impatient. As I am sitting on the toilet waiting for this test, my mother-in-law was very aware that me and my boyfriend were having, you know, so I was very open with her, and I told her I already had missed my period. And after I told her that, she said, mamita, whatever it is, you know, I got your back. So we went from there. So she was actually the very first person I told I was pregnant before my boyfriend. And once I told her, she was like, oh my God, congratulations. She was always very supportive. Like, that's one thing about my mother-in-law. She is very supportive about anything and everything that I do, or even her child. So I told her, and she's like, have you told him yet? I told him, no, not yet. You know, I've been texting him, and I think he's still sleeping. She was already at work that day. Guys, like, I remember this as clear as day, because I was so afraid to tell my mom. So I had to get ready to go to work. Mind you, I'm waiting for my boyfriend to finally text me, and I'm like, oh my God, like, come on. So eventually he texts me, because I'm at work and I can't answer my phone. And he's like, oh my God, babe, for real? You're pregnant? He was excited as much as I was, just because I always wanted to be a young mom. Always. I've always said it to everybody that knows me. Literally, I've always said that I always want to be a young mom. And literally exactly what happened. So yeah, I told my boyfriend over a text message, and then eventually I ended up calling him once I was on lunch. And he was just excited. He said, come over as soon as you get out of work. Mind you, because at the time I was going to college. I was a full-time employee, and I was going to college. And his schedule was so, like, random. And at the time, his car had broken down. So right now we only had my car until we could save up enough to, you know, help him fix his car. And whatever, we did. Another thing, at the beginning, you know, everybody says, like, oh my God, you know, did you ever have morning sickness? Guys, believe it or not, I never had morning sickness at all, like, whatsoever. The only thing that I can say that I remember from being pregnant was that in the beginning I was always very tired for anything. Like, I would fall asleep. Let's say I was at somebody's house, I would fall asleep right on their couch, because I was just so exhausted. And mind you, I was working full-time and going to school full-time, so I felt like the toll just was falling on top of me just doing that. So yeah, I had no morning sickness. My doctor's appointments, I used to love one of my doctor's appointments. I remember my very first doctor's appointment, I went with my boyfriend, and it was in a place right here in Miramar. Some appointments were always great. He always made sure that he was there one way or another. His job was very like stressful because he used to work, I think it was at Subways at the time. So, and then he ended up getting a job being a plumber for a plumbing company. So those jobs usually just takes up so much time out of your day. So like if he couldn't come to my appointments, my mom would come with me. So I never felt alone, you know, and that it was always like great for me, because nobody really wants to be like, I was just 18, guys, like believe it or not, I was still a child. Obviously I was a teen, I was grown enough to know what I was doing, but I was still a child and I needed at least support, you know. So that I've always had with all of them. I told my parents that I was pregnant, and I remember telling my mom first. Not first between my mother-in-law and my boyfriend. She was actually a third person I knew, but before I told my dad, because believe it or not, my dad was always strict. He was always a strict parent, but my dad was more of a lenient parent. I don't know if that makes sense. So I told my mom over text. I remember I was at work and I was like, Mom, I have to talk to you. She's like, Mija, tell me. And I was like, no. She's like, we could talk about it when we get home. Mind you, my mom had suspicions already. But being as a mom, she wanted me to come to her and tell her. But I was just so scared. I was like, there's no way I'm going to be able to tell my mom that I'm pregnant. Like, what is she going to think of me? I'm not even married or engaged. Like, what is my mom really going to think about me? Like, you know what I mean? I feel like my mom already knew that I was sexually active, but she never, like, physically asked me, like, hey, you know. And me and her never had the talk about, you know, this and that, like protected sex. Like, my mom never came across to that conversation, at least from what I remember. But, you know, she told me, you know, that she was a little disappointed, but I was her daughter and that she was going to support me. And she never believed in abortions, and honestly, me neither. I don't. And this is not shade to anybody that has done so. I'm just giving you guys my story. So I hope you guys respect it as I respect anybody's decision here. So I finally came across to tell my dad that I was pregnant. And I remember I told my boyfriend, like, you were gonna be here so I could tell my dad, because my dad is very lenient, but my dad always had a really strong character. So I never played about my dad, like, about anything. So once I told my boyfriend, he's like, okay, whatever. My mom told us that we needed to be engaged before we told my dad. So me and my boyfriend, and me did, we went to Walmart, because at the time, guys, we weren't making money. We were literally making $8 to $9 an hour at the time when we were just 18, fresh out of high school. And we picked out a ring. I think it was like about $50-$80 from Walmart. My mom told my boyfriend that he needed to make sure that he proposed, because my mom and dad were very religious at the time, and my dad was going to be upset, you know. So my mom thought that was the right thing to do. Mind you, I felt like honestly that we were rushing it, but guys, what did I know, you know? I always went by like with my mom, what my mom would always tell me. And yeah, but let me not get off topic. I haven't told him that I was pregnant yet. So my boyfriend first, since we got the ring, he's like, let me ask him for your hand and then we'll tell him that you're pregnant. Guys, the worst mistake we possibly could have done. My dad already knew what was coming, you know, because it was so like unprepared. Everything just happened so fast. So he was like, what's going on? So my dad ended up telling my boyfriend yes. And then I was like, Dad, I have to talk to you. He's like, dime mi hija. And I was like, Dad, I'm pregnant. My dad literally looked at me with the most, like, so pissed off. Mind you, my dad had made a comment one time saying that if I ever became pregnant or anything like that, he was gonna kick me out of the house. So that was always stuck in my head. I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna get kicked out of my house. Like, where am I gonna go? And all of this stuff. Mind you guys, thank God I have such a great support system that once I told him Guys, they were all about like making sure that I eat properly. Me and my dad used to work at the same job, so my dad would like come by like, Mira, and he'll say my nickname. I'm not gonna tell you guys because I don't want you guys calling me it. He's like, I'm gonna just say Gabby, here, mira, te traje una manzanita, una bananita. So we had like a food truck coming by, and he would always give me something from the truck. And I was like, oh my God, Daddy, thank you, whatever. So he always made sure that I was fed. So at the end, yes, they were upset. But I felt like it was such more relief once I told my parents that I was pregnant. So I felt like I was more open to tell them like, Mom, you think you're coming with me to my appointment? Sometimes I didn't even feel like driving, so my dad would drive me because my boyfriend had this, like I said, like this schedule of work that was just the worst. So my dad would always say, you know, like, okay, mija, yo te llevo, whatever. So that I was always grateful for. But I want to talk to you guys how people just spoke about me like crazy. When I mean people spoke about me, nasty. Mind you, it was mostly the people that we used to go to church with. Kid you not, the most church holy people that you can think of spoke about me the most. All these things had to say. It was horrifying. Mind you, the church that I used to go to, I was going to that church since I was a kid. I used to even go to the school. It was Santa Monica, you know? And I went to the church, and I was still going to church, pregnant or not. Rumors started happening like, oh my God, tú escuchaste que la hija de fulanita está embarazada, la hija de fulanito está embarazada. Guys, like, I was the topic of the church. Like, this was like, imagine being 18 and pregnant. Mind you, you already told your parents, and your parents, you know, obviously they're upset, but everybody else felt so entitled of telling me something. And they were just so rude. So eventually, guys, I stopped going to church. Even the most people that I felt like growing up as a kid that have so much love towards them, I eventually created like this hatred toward them, because all of the things that I would come back home and hear, like, tú puedes creer que ella está embarazada and she's not married, like, yeah, like, and it'd be the people that already were married with another person, had a child with another person, got remarried and divorced, because supposedly in the Catholic, it's a sin to get divorced. Like, you literally made a commitment that is from to death do us apart, but yet you're judging me. And I felt so hurt. Because it was people that I really truly came to love. Like, I felt like they were my uncles or my aunts, to just sit there and talk. So eventually we stopped going to that church because my mom was not tolerating people talking smack about her daughter, obviously. So we no longer went to that church, and my dad stopped going too. Literally all of us, like, I guess with all that talking that they were doing, my parents had enough, you know? And after we stopped going to the church, everybody has so much to say. But that's the story with that. I don't even want to get more into it, because it was just the worst time that I can possibly think, because that people that see me grow up had the most to say about me, but couldn't say it directly to me. They would say it to other people, and mind you, I've been going there for so long that people that were telling me were people that were like, you know, I try, you know, to say something, but it was whatever. But one thing I do want to tell you guys, if you're a young mom and you feel like people are judging you, don't even worry about them. Because at the end of the day, nobody's really going to be there for you. Those people that are talking about you won't even be in your life. As soon as you become pregnant, everybody would eventually start vanishing, like literally vanishing, like if they never existed in your life, because that's how people are. They're always like hee hee ha ha in your face, and it'd be the people that talks the most. And unfortunately, guys, that's life. That's really life. And now being an adult, I have no hate towards them. I just hope that they really seek God, because what they made me feel is horrifying. And no young mom should feel that way, especially like if their parents are there for them. You have no place for you to put your 2 cents and feel a mom any type of way whatsoever, you know. But I feel like everybody in a, and I'm not just trying to like categorize a religion, but since I used to go to Catholic church, I feel like those people love to like judge you the most. And I don't want to hear nobody telling me, you know, that's not true. It is true. I grew up in there. I've been going to church my whole entire life, I kid you not, and I'm going to be 27 years old. And I hated it so much because I just couldn't believe like the place that you call safe wasn't really a safe home. At least not for me, you know. Everyone just had too much to say. But anyways, I don't want to get off topic, but my advice to a young mom is don't worry about nobody has to say. You're the one pregnant. You're the one creating a whole human, a beautiful human. You're human, someone that's going to change your life forever. And my experience wasn't the best in the beginning, but once I saw my little human on my ultrasound, I fell in love with her. I would love just seeing her on my ultrasounds. I just looked forward to my appointments, and no one could take that away from me. And I didn't know anything about being a mom at all. I would read up on classes, I would take classes, I would literally do my research because I wanted to be the best mom that I could possibly be for my child. And I feel like once I had her, I grew up with her. And my best decision was to have my child. And not saying that I was gonna have, you know, but that was never a decision in my eyes ever. My child was my everything, and she still is, and to this day she's so attached to me. And I just love the motherly and daughter bond that we have. And I feel like me and her grew up together. Like, she helped me grow into the woman that I am today. She's so sweet, and I feel like I did such a great job, guys. And not only that, but don't doubt yourself and stop thinking it's like, is this right? Is this wrong? Like, you're gonna know what's right and wrong for your child, believe it or not. And you don't need no manual. There's literally no manual to tell you like how a kid is raised. You're gonna know what to do with your child. You're literally gonna know. And that's just the best advice that I can give you. Take it one day at a time. You don't need nobody. At the end of the day, you got it. You can do it. I did it really young. And just because you're pregnant does not mean that your life stops, because it doesn't. It doesn't at all. Quickly fix my hair off camera, but I wanted to finish off this video, guys. And I hope this video helps any mom that feels that she's too young, that she can't do it, that she actually can do it, that you can do anything you put your mind to. And just because you're a single mom does not mean your door's closed. Many doors will open. And if you guys need any advice or any recommendations of what I did as a young mom and what help I used, because I'm not gonna sit here and say that I didn't get help. I got help from WIC. I had food stamps. I had the help that I needed when I was 18 and pregnant, guys. So don't be ashamed of that. Don't feel like nobody can turn you down because you're asking for help. It's okay. Do what you know that you needed to do for your child, because that motherly instinct would kick in automatically. So don't feel bad about asking for help. Anybody that loves you will literally help you. And we also have government help. So if you guys are seeking for help, look for WIC, look for food stamps, look for help. I know they will totally help you guys. You guys just have to look for the resource. Go ahead and end this video right here, guys. If you guys like these story times, please let me know in the comments down below. Let me know any other video ideas you guys would like me to do. Don't forget to give it a big thumbs up, like, comment, and subscribe, guys, and I'll see you on my next video.